Imagine sending a signal into deep space, a radio transmission aimed at a distant satellite orbiting beyond the clouds. If the signal is weak, if it lacks the necessary amplitude and focus, it bounces off the atmosphere and dissipates into the void, never reaching its destination. It never makes contact. But if the signal is focused, if it is intense and precisely calibrated, it punches through the atmospheric barrier and makes direct contact with the satellite, establishing a connection that allows for the exchange of information. Wallace Wattles, the architect of prosperity consciousness, tells us something that most people never grasp. Most human thoughts are weak signals. They are diffuse, scattered, and lacking in power. They bounce off the surface of what Wattles calls the formless substance, without leaving a scratch, without making an impression, without causing any change whatsoever in the fabric of reality itself. Your wishes, your hopes, your vague desires, they are signals that never reach the satellite. They are cosmic noise dissipating before they can penetrate the creative medium that surrounds you. The universe, Wattles reveals, is not empty space dotted with matter. It is filled, completely saturated, with a creative thinking stuff, an intelligent substance that responds to thought. This formless substance is sensitive, yes, capable of receiving impressions, but it is not flimsy or weak. It is not a cloud that parts at the slightest breeze. To mold it, to shape it, to command it into physical form, your thought needs density. It needs weight. It needs what Wattles calls penetrating power. Consider the difference. A wish is a cloud, shapeless and drifting, moved by every wind of circumstance. A command is a bullet, dense and focused, cutting through resistance to reach its target. Most people spend their lives sending clouds into the universe, wondering why nothing materializes. Wattles teaches us the science of hardening our thoughts into bullets, of condensing our mental energy into a form so concentrated, so powerful, that the formless substance has no choice but to yield to it. This is not metaphor. This is physics applied to consciousness. Your thought can become a force that penetrates reality itself, but only if you understand the laws that govern this penetration. Only if you learn to generate the frequency that cuts through the barrier between the invisible and the visible. In this video, we will tune into what Wattles calls the penetrating frequency, the one mental tone that separates those who shape reality from those who are shaped by it. We will learn the precise vibrational quality that cuts through the cosmic noise and makes direct contact with the Creator, with the formless intelligence that underlies all existence, forcing the formless energy to snap into physical shape according to your design. This is not about positive thinking or affirmations repeated mechanically into the void. This is about establishing a connection so powerful, so undeniable, that the universe must respond. You will discover why most prayers are weak signals that bounce back, and how to transform your mental transmissions into penetrating commands that reach the source and return to you as materialized reality. The masters knew this science. Wallace Wattles codified it with precision, and today you stand at the threshold of this knowledge, ready to learn how to make your thoughts penetrate the very substance of creation. Are you ready to stop bouncing and start penetrating? Are you ready to make contact? Wallace Wattles reveals something that demolishes the entire foundation of traditional religious thinking. You cannot penetrate the formless substance if you see yourself as an outsider. You cannot approach the creative power of the universe as a beggar approaches a king, as a servant petitions a master, as a supplicant pleads with a deity separate from and superior to yourself. This posture, this attitude of separation and inferiority, creates a vibrational mismatch that prevents penetration. The formless substance, Wattles teaches, responds to its own kind. It recognizes itself. It responds to the frequency of creative power because it is creative power. When you approach it as less than, as powerless, as dependent, you are broadcasting on a frequency that the substance does not recognize as worthy of response. You must establish what Wattles calls a personal relation with the formless. This means seeing yourself not as a creature begging for scraps from the table of creation, but as a creator cooperating with the great creator, as an extension of the same creative intelligence that formed the galaxies and orchestrates the dance of atoms. This personal relation is not arrogance, it is accurate perception. You are not pretending to be something you are not. You are recognizing what you actually are, a localized expression of the one creative mind, endowed with the same power to think, to visualize, and to impress your thoughts upon the formless substance. When you grasp this truth, not intellectually, but viscerally in the core of your being, your entire vibrational signature changes. You no longer emit the frequency of lack, of need, of desperate hoping. You emit the frequency of creative authority, of one who knows they have the right and the power to command matter into form. The substance recognizes this frequency instantly, because it is the substance's own frequency reflected back to itself. This is the first requirement for penetration. You must vibrate as a creator to be heard by creative power. Consider how this changes everything about your mental approach. When you want something, do you ask or do you command? Do you hope or do you decree? Do you wish circumstances would change, or do you impress upon the formless the change you intend to manifest? The difference is not semantic, it is vibrational. A wish carries the frequency of uncertainty, of maybe, of if the universe allows. A command carries the frequency of certainty, of inevitability, of it is already done in the invisible, now manifesting in the visible. Wattles is not teaching you arrogance toward the universe. He is teaching you recognition of your true nature. You are not separate from the creative power. You are an individualized center of that power, fully equipped to use it according to law. When you approach the formless substance from this understanding, from this personal relation of creator to creative medium, your thoughts carry an entirely different voltage. They carry penetrating power. But how do you cultivate this personal relation if you have spent years, perhaps decades, conditioning yourself to see God or the universe as something separate, something distant, something that might help you if you are good enough or lucky enough? Wattles provides the answer. You begin with gratitude. Not gratitude for specific things you hope to receive, but gratitude for what already is, for the fact that you exist, that you are conscious, that you are an expression of creative intelligence right now. This gratitude establishes the connection. It says to the universe, I recognize my place in the creative order. I am not a mistake or an afterthought. I am a necessary part of the whole, endowed with creative power. From this foundation of gratitude flows the recognition of your personal relation. You are grateful because you understand. You are not outside the system trying to get in. You are inside the system, an integral part of it with full access to its power. This shift in identity, from beggar to creator, is the first and most fundamental step in learning to generate thoughts with penetrating power. Without this shift, your thoughts will always be weak signals, bouncing off the surface of possibility without ever making contact with the creative depths. The masters across traditions have pointed to this same truth using different language. Some called it Christ consciousness, the recognition that you are one with the Father. Some called it Buddha nature, the realization that you are not separate from the enlightened mind. Some called it self-realization, the direct knowing that Atman and Brahman are one. Wattles, writing in the language of practical metaphysics, calls it the personal relation, and he makes it clear, this is not philosophy for meditation retreats. This is operational science for daily life. You establish this relation, this recognition of your creative identity, and you maintain it through every thought, every word, every action. When you slip back into the consciousness of separation, of lack, of hoping someone or something outside yourself will save you, you sever the connection. The signal weakens. Penetration becomes impossible. But when you hold steady in the awareness that you are a creator, in personal relation with creative power, your thoughts carry the frequency that the formless substance cannot ignore. You become, in Wattles' precise language, one with the formless intelligence. And from this unity flows the power to impress your will upon the creative medium of the universe. This personal relation must be understood not as a belief you adopt, but as a reality you embody. There is a vast difference between believing something intellectually and knowing it with every cell of your being. You may believe the earth is round, but you know gravity by direct experience. You feel it in your body with every step you take. The personal relation must move from belief to knowing, from concept to lived experience. How? By acting from it consistently. By making decisions as a creator, not as a victim. By speaking with the authority of one who knows they are cooperating with infinite power, not begging finite power for favors. Every time you catch yourself in the old pattern, I hope this works out. Maybe if I'm lucky, I wish things would change. You pause, you correct, and you realign with the truth. I am the one through whom creative power operates. I impress my will upon the formless, and it must take the shape I command. This correction, repeated thousands of times, becomes your new default frequency. And on this frequency, your thoughts gain the density, the focus, the penetrating power that transforms the invisible into the visible. Wattles understood something that modern seekers often miss in their pursuit of manifestation techniques. No technique works without the correct identity. You can visualize perfectly, affirm eloquently, and act persistently. But if underneath all of that you still see yourself as separate from creative power, as dependent upon something outside yourself, as merely human and not divine, your signal will never penetrate. The formless substance responds to what you are, not to what you do. And what you are, in truth, is a creator in personal relation with the source of all creation. When you know this, when you live from this knowing, everything you think carries the weight of law. Your thoughts become commands that the universe must execute because you are not asking the universe to do something for you. You are operating as the universe, localizing infinite power through your individualized consciousness. This is the great secret that Wattles encoded in the phrase personal relation, and it is the foundation upon which all penetrating power is built. Without this foundation, you are trying to transmit on a frequency you do not embody. With this foundation, you become a broadcasting station for creative will, and every thought you send forth penetrates the formless and returns to you as manifest reality. The will, Wattles teaches, is the drill bit, the instrument of penetration, the focused force that drives your intention into the formless substance. The image is the blueprint, the clear picture of what you intend to create, the exact specification of the form you want the substance to assume. But here is what most people miss. The will and the image, powerful as they are, remain inert without the electricity that activates them. This electricity is what Wattles calls the penetrating frequency, and it is composed of two elements working in perfect synthesis: deep gratitude and absolute faith. When these two forces combine, they create a vibration so powerful, so aligned with the fundamental nature of creative intelligence, that matter itself cannot resist. The formless must respond. The invisible must become visible. This is not mysticism, this is law, as precise as the laws that govern electricity or magnetism or any other force of nature. Consider gratitude first. Why does Wattles place such extraordinary emphasis on gratitude? Why does he insist that without it nothing else works? Because gratitude is the frequency that most closely matches the frequency of the formless substance itself. The formless, as Wattles describes it, is not neutral. It is not passive. It is continuously seeking expression, continuously seeking to create, to manifest, to take form. It is, in its essence, generative and abundant. When you feel gratitude, you align your consciousness with this generative abundance. You declare through your feeling tone, I recognize the giving nature of the universe. I am in harmony with the creative flow. This alignment is critical because the formless substance responds most powerfully to minds that match its own character. A mind filled with complaint, with fear, with focus on lack, is broadcasting a frequency that is opposite to the nature of the substance. Such a mind experiences resistance. Its thoughts bounce back. But a mind steeped in gratitude becomes what Wattles calls a superconductor. There is zero resistance. The thought travels instantly from your consciousness to the formless intelligence because there is no vibrational friction, no mismatch, no barrier. But gratitude alone is not enough. Many people are grateful for what they have, yet remain unable to create what they want, because gratitude without faith is incomplete. Faith is the second half of the penetrating frequency. Faith, as Wattles defines it, is not hope. It is not belief. It is not wishful thinking. It is the unshakable knowing that what you have impressed upon the formless substance must manifest in the physical realm because you have operated according to law. Faith is mental certainty. It is the state of consciousness in which doubt has been completely eliminated, not through willpower or positive thinking, but through understanding. When you understand how the creative process works, when you grasp that the formless substance is absolutely reliable, that it must take the shape of the thoughts impressed upon it by a mind operating in personal relation with clear images and focused will, then faith is not something you try to generate. It is the natural result of understanding. You do not have faith that gravity will hold you to the earth. You simply know it will because you understand the law. In the same way, when you understand the law that governs the creative process, faith becomes knowing, and this knowing broadcasts a frequency of absolute certainty. When gratitude and faith combine, they create something greater than either force alone. Gratitude opens the channel. Faith drives the power through it. Gratitude establishes the connection. Faith ensures the transmission reaches its destination. Think of it as a radio transmission again. Gratitude tunes you to the right frequency so that the formless intelligence can receive your signal clearly. Faith provides the amplitude, the power, the voltage that allows your signal to not just reach, but penetrate, to make such a deep impression that the substance must respond by forming into the physical equivalent of your thought. This combination is what Wattles means by the penetrating frequency. It is not just thinking. It is not just wanting. It is thinking infused with grateful recognition of the source and absolute certainty in the law. Most people fail in manifestation because they operate with one force, but not both. They have faith, they believe strongly in what they want, but they lack gratitude, constantly focusing on what they do not have, complaining about their current circumstances, resisting what is. This resistance creates friction that weakens their signal. Or they have gratitude, they are thankful for their blessings, but they lack faith, not truly believing that they can create something new, doubting whether the universe will really respond to their desires. This doubt creates a weak, wavering signal that bounces off the formless without making an impression. Wattles is explicit. Both forces must be present and active simultaneously. You must be grateful for what the formless has already given you, while having absolute faith that it will give you what you are now impressing upon it. This is the paradox that collapses. You are completely satisfied with what is, gratitude, while simultaneously certain that more is coming, faith. These two states, which seem contradictory to the logical mind, create together the exact vibrational signature that penetrates the creative medium. How do you cultivate this combined frequency? Wattles provides the method. You begin each day by contemplating the formless substance and its nature. You remind yourself that it is thinking stuff, that it is sensitive to thought, that it desires to express more life through you, that it is fundamentally on your side. This contemplation generates gratitude naturally. You feel grateful that such a power exists and that you have access to it. Then you bring into your mind the clear image of what you intend to create. You see it in detail. You hold it steady, and you claim it with absolute faith, knowing that because you have operated according to law, because you have established personal relation, because you have formed a clear image, because you are holding that image with gratitude and faith, the formless must respond. There is no maybe. There is no hoping. There is only certainty based on law. This daily practice is not just meditation, it is the generation of the penetrating frequency. You are building up the voltage in your consciousness, charging your thoughts with the combined power of gratitude and faith, until your mental transmissions carry enough force to punch through the barrier between mind and matter. Wattles warns against allowing this frequency to degrade. You cannot be grateful in your morning practice and complaining by afternoon. You cannot have faith while you are visualizing and doubt when you face obstacles. The penetrating frequency must be continuous. It must become your default state of consciousness, your habitual vibration. Every time you notice yourself slipping into complaint, you correct immediately by finding something to be grateful for. Every time you notice doubt creeping in, you correct immediately by returning to the certainty that comes from understanding law. This constant self-correction, this vigilance over your mental state, is how you maintain the frequency. And the longer you maintain it, the more powerful your signal becomes. Days of consistent practice compound into weeks, weeks into months, until your consciousness is permanently tuned to the penetrating frequency. At that point, everything you think about with clear intention manifests with astonishing speed, because there is no longer any resistance in your transmission. The formless substance receives your thoughts as clear, powerful commands and responds by organizing itself into the physical form you have specified. This is the will as drill bit, driven by the electricity of gratitude plus faith. This is how thought becomes thing. This is the mechanism that Wattles discovered and codified with scientific precision. The will focuses the intention. The image specifies the form. But the penetrating frequency, this alchemical combination of grateful alignment and faithful certainty, is what transforms intention into manifestation. Matter cannot resist this frequency, because matter itself is just formless substance that has already been impressed by thought and taken shape. You are not fighting against matter. You are working with the same creative process that formed matter in the first place. And when you operate on the penetrating frequency, you discover what the masters have always known. Thought is not separate from creation. Thought is creation in its first stage, and when powered by the right frequency, it must complete its journey from invisible to visible, from formless to formed, from mind to matter. We have spoken before in our exploration of William Walker Atkinson's teachings about the concept of the silent broadcast, the understanding that your mind is constantly transmitting thoughts into the mental atmosphere, and that these thoughts influence other minds without any need for spoken words or physical actions. Atkinson revealed that you are always broadcasting, always sending out mental vibrations that others pick up consciously or unconsciously, and that by controlling your mental broadcasts, you can influence people, shape opportunities, and direct circumstances in your favor. This was a revelation. You are not merely a receiver of the world around you, you are a transmitter, constantly shaping the mental environment in which you operate. But Wallace Wattles takes this concept to an entirely different level of power. While Atkinson teaches you to broadcast to people, to influence minds, to attract allies, to project your presence into the consciousness of others, Wattles teaches you to broadcast to the stuff of the universe itself. This is a quantum leap in application. When you understand Atkinson, you realize you can influence your boss, attract your ideal partner, or draw opportunities to yourself by consciously directing your mental broadcasts toward other human minds. You are working within the mental plane, mind affecting mind, thought influencing thought. But Wattles shows you that this is not the limit of thought's power. The formless substance that fills the universe is not just a background medium, it is thinking stuff that is far more responsive to thought than any human mind. When you broadcast on the penetrating frequency that Wattles teaches, when you combine clear imagery with gratitude and faith, you are not just influencing the people around you. You are influencing the atoms of the chair your boss sits on, the molecules of the building where the opportunity exists, the very fabric of physical reality itself. You are impressing your thought directly upon the creative medium from which all matter arises, and you are commanding that medium to take the specific form you have visualized. Think about the implications of this. With Atkinson's methods, you might influence someone to offer you a job. With Wattles' methods, you are impressing upon the formless substance the complete picture of your ideal career. And the substance must organize not just the thoughts of one person, but the movements of multiple people, the timing of events, the appearance of opportunities, the arrangement of circumstances, everything necessary to manifest your vision in the physical world. You are not asking anyone for anything. You are not trying to persuade or convince or manipulate. You are going above and around the human level entirely, working directly with the creative intelligence that produces all the people, all the circumstances, all the opportunities in the first place. Atkinson gives you influence over effects. Wattles gives you access to the cause. Atkinson teaches you to be a skilled player in the game. Wattles teaches you to be the one who sets up the board. This is why Wattles insists on the penetrating frequency. Broadcasting to human minds requires clarity and intention, yes, But human minds are somewhat resistant. They have their own agendas, their own beliefs, their own wills. To influence them requires sustained effort and skillful mental direction. But the formless substance has no agenda except to create. It has no resistance except what you create through doubt or mixed signals. It is infinitely receptive, infinitely willing, infinitely capable of taking any shape you impress upon it. The challenge is not to convince it or persuade it. The challenge is simply to make your impression deep enough, clear enough, powerful enough, that it registers in the substance as a command rather than as a passing fancy. This is what penetration means. A weak thought makes a shallow impression that fades before the substance can respond. A powerful thought, one vibrating with gratitude and faith, held steady by will and backed by clear imagery, makes a deep impression that the substance must honor by manifesting into form. Wattles is teaching you to broadcast at a deeper level than Atkinson, to work with a more fundamental force. Both teachers are correct, both methods work, but they work at different levels of the creative hierarchy. Atkinson is teaching you to work within the world of formed minds and formed circumstances, shaping what already exists into better configurations. Wattles is teaching you to work with the formless foundation beneath all formed things, calling new circumstances into existence from the undifferentiated creative potential. With Atkinson, you rearrange the pieces. With Wattles, you generate new pieces. The power is different in kind, not just in degree. When you grasp this, when you see that your thoughts can reach beyond the mental atmosphere of other people and touch the creative source itself, you realize why Wattles demands such precision in the penetrating frequency. You are not just influencing, you are creating. You are not just attracting, you are commanding matter into specific form. This requires a level of mental clarity and vibrational power that goes beyond what is needed for interpersonal influence. So the strategic connection between Atkinson and Wattles becomes clear. Atkinson teaches you that your mind has broadcasting power. Wattles teaches you where to aim that broadcast for maximum creative effect. Atkinson proves that thought is a force that affects other minds. Wattles proves that thought is the force that affects the substance from which all minds and all matter emerge. Learn Atkinson first to understand that you are a transmitter. Learn Wattles next to understand that your transmission can reach all the way to the source code of reality itself. Use Atkinson's methods to navigate the world as it is. Use Wattles' methods to create the world as you want it to be. Both are necessary. Both are powerful. But understand the hierarchy. Atkinson works on the surface, which is important and immediately practical. Wattles works at the foundation, which is ultimate and ultimately transformative. When you combine both, when you can broadcast to minds and to the formless substance simultaneously, you become a master of manifestation at every level. You influence people while creating circumstances. You attract opportunities while generating new possibilities. You work within the system while simultaneously rewriting the code of the system. This is the synthesis of Atkinson and Wattles, and it is the mark of someone who has truly understood the complete science of mental causation. We have also explored in our journey through the wisdom of the masters, Charles Haanel's Master Key System, that magnificent structure of mental technology that provides step-by-step instructions for building the consciousness of a creator. Haanel gives you the architecture. He shows you how to concentrate, how to visualize, how to build mental patterns with precision, how to coordinate your conscious and subconscious minds, how to access the universal mind through proper alignment of your individual consciousness. The Master Key System is exactly what its name suggests, a complete system for unlocking the creative powers of mind. It is comprehensive, detailed, systematic, and when followed with discipline, it builds within you the machinery of conscious creation. But here is what many students of Haanel discover. They build the machine, they follow the steps, they practice the exercises, and yet their results are inconsistent or slow to manifest or sometimes absent altogether. They have the structure, but lack the power. They have the mechanism, but not the energy to drive it. This is where Wallace Wattles becomes essential. If Haanel gives you the Master Key System, Wattles gives you the master frequency, the specific vibrational tone that activates the system and powers it into operation. Harnell builds the machine with engineering precision. Wattles turns it on with the electricity of gratitude and faith. Think of it this way. Harnell's system is like a perfectly designed radio transmitter, built with exact specifications, every component in its proper place, every connection made correctly. But a transmitter needs a power source. It needs electricity flowing through its circuits to actually broadcast a signal. Wattles provides that power source. His penetrating frequency is the current that runs through Harnell's machine, transforming it from a beautiful theoretical construct into a functioning creative instrument that produces real results in the physical world. The precision that Harnell demands, the clear, specific, detailed mental images held steady in consciousness, is absolutely necessary. Vague wishes do not penetrate. Scattered thoughts do not create. You must know exactly what you want, see it clearly, specify it in detail, and hold that specification steady without wavering. This is Harnell's genius. He teaches you how to think with laser-like focus, how to build thought forms that are geometrically perfect, how to visualize with such clarity that your mental image is indistinguishable from the physical thing itself. This precision creates the pathway through which creative power can flow. It gives the formless substance the exact blueprint it needs to manifest your desire correctly. Without this precision, even the most powerful frequency is wasted. It is like pouring electricity into a machine with faulty wiring. The power is there, but the result is chaotic or non-existent. But here is the critical point that brings Harnell and Wattles into perfect synthesis. Precision without power is static. You can visualize perfectly, hold your image steadily, concentrate with unwavering focus, and yet if you do this with doubt, with fear, with anxiety about whether it will work, with lack of gratitude for what you already have, you are running Harnell's machine on low voltage. The signal broadcasts weakly. The impression on the formless substance is shallow. The manifestation, if it comes at all, comes slowly and incompletely. What Wattles adds to Harnell is the understanding that the mental image must be charged with the penetrating frequency to have maximum creative power. You must see what you want with Harnell's precision while feeling gratitude for it with Wattles' intensity. You must hold the image with Harnell's focus while maintaining faith in its manifestation with Wattles' certainty. When you combine the two, when you apply Wattles' frequency to Harnell's structure, something extraordinary happens. Your visualizations cease to be mere mental exercises and become creative acts of tremendous power. You are not just practicing concentration, you are actually impressing your will upon the formless substance. You are not just building mental patterns, you are commanding the creative medium to organize itself according to those patterns. The specificity of Harnell ensures that the formless knows exactly what to create. The frequency of Wattles ensures that the command penetrates deeply enough to trigger actual manifestation. Precision gives direction, power gives velocity. Harnell's method tells the formless what shape to take. Wattles' method ensures it actually takes that shape, instead of remaining formless potential. Consider a practical application. Using Harnell's methods alone, you would build a clear, detailed mental picture of your ideal outcome. Let us say, a specific amount of money. You would visualize the bank statement, feel the security, see yourself living the life that amount of money affords. You would practice this daily, building the mental habit, impressing the pattern on your subconscious. This is powerful and necessary. But now add Wattles' frequency. As you hold that mental image, you suffuse it with deep gratitude to the formless substance for the money that is even now forming in the invisible realm. You feel grateful not for money you hope to receive, but for money you know is already yours in the formless, now making its way to visibility. You combine this gratitude with absolute faith, not hope, not belief, but knowing that because you have impressed this image with clarity and power, the formless must respond according to law. Now your visualization is no longer practice, it is creative command. The image is specific enough, Harnell, and the frequency is powerful enough, Wattles, to penetrate the substance and set the creative forces in motion. This is why so many students succeed with one teacher's methods, but not another's. They master Harnell's precision but lack Wattles' power, or they have Wattles' faith but lack Harnell's clarity. The complete science requires both. You need the engineering of Harnell to build the proper mental structures. You need the energetics of Wattles to power those structures into manifestation. Harnell shows you how to construct the thought form. Wattles shows you how to vivify it with the force that makes it real. Harnell gives you the blueprint. Wattles gives you the life force. Harnell teaches you to think correctly. Wattles teaches you to feel correctly while you think. When both are present, when you have precise imagery powered by penetrating frequency, you have mastered the complete technology of conscious creation. You are no longer just studying metaphysics, you are practicing creative science at the highest level. You are using your mind as it was designed to be used, as an instrument through which the formless intelligence focuses itself into specific forms, transforming possibility into actuality, turning the invisible into the visible, making thought into thing. Why does Wallace Wattles obsess over gratitude? Why does he return to it again and again throughout his writings, insisting that it is not optional, not supplementary, not just a nice addition to your mental practice, but absolutely foundational to all successful manifestation? Because gratitude, Wattles discovered, is the frequency that most closely aligns with the fundamental nature of the formless substance itself. This is not poetry. This is physics applied to consciousness. Every force in the universe operates on a specific frequency. Light has its frequency. Sound has its frequency. Electricity has its frequency. Consciousness, too, operates on frequencies. Different mental and emotional states produce different vibrational patterns. And the formless substance, being conscious and intelligent, has its own frequency, its own natural vibrational state. Gratitude is the human frequency that synchronizes perfectly with that universal frequency, creating what Wattles calls harmonic alignment. When you are grateful, genuinely, deeply grateful, not just mouthing words but feeling appreciation in your entire being, something shifts in your consciousness. You move out of the frequency of lack and into the frequency of abundance. You are no longer focused on what is missing, but on what is present. You are no longer in resistance to what is, but in acceptance and appreciation of what is. This shift is critical because the formless substance is not a thing that lacks anything. It is infinite possibility, infinite potential, infinitely abundant. It is not trying to get anything, it is trying to give everything, to express itself in infinite variety and complexity. When your consciousness matches this giving, abundant, generative nature through gratitude, you become what Wattles calls a superconductor for creative power. There is zero resistance between your mind and the universal mind. Your thoughts travel instantly from your consciousness to the formless intelligence because there is no vibrational friction, no mismatch, no barrier. Contrast this with the frequency of complaint, of dissatisfaction, of focus on problems. When you complain, you are broadcasting on a frequency that says, something is wrong, something is missing. Reality is not as it should be. I am separate from the good I desire. This frequency creates resistance. It is literally oppositional to the nature of the formless substance, which is always seeking to create more, to expand, to manifest in greater fullness. A mind filled with complaint is like a radio trying to receive on one frequency while broadcasting on another. There is static, interference, poor reception. Your thoughts do not penetrate because they are not aligned with the receiver. But a mind steeped in gratitude is perfectly tuned. There is no static. The channel is clear. Every thought you think, while in this state of gratitude, reaches the formless substance with perfect clarity and makes a deep impression because there is no resistance to dull its impact. This is why Wattles insists that gratitude is not just about being polite or showing good manners to the universe. Gratitude is a technology of consciousness. It is the tuning fork that brings your individual mind into perfect resonance with the universal mind. When two tuning forks are tuned to the same frequency and you strike one, the other begins to vibrate sympathetically, even though it has not been touched. This is resonance. When your mind vibrates with gratitude and the formless substance vibrates with abundant creativity, they resonate. And in that resonance, the transfer of creative power from the universal to the individual becomes effortless. You do not have to push or strain or try hard to manifest. The power flows naturally, as electricity flows through a wire with no resistance. You become the path of least resistance for the creative forces of the universe to express themselves in physical form. But here is where most people misunderstand gratitude and fail to use it correctly. They think gratitude means being thankful for the good things that have already manifested while ignoring or resenting the things they do not like. This is selective gratitude, and it does not create the penetrating frequency. True gratitude, the kind that Wattles teaches, is a state of consciousness that sees everything, every circumstance, every challenge, every apparent obstacle as part of the creative process. You are grateful for where you are right now because you understand that where you are is the launching point for where you are going. You are grateful for what you have because you know that gratitude for the present attracts more good in the future. You are even grateful for difficulties because you recognize that they have made you stronger, wiser, more capable of handling the greater good that is coming to you. This is not naive positivity. This is strategic consciousness. You maintain gratitude not because everything is perfect, but because gratitude is the frequency that attracts perfection. Wattles goes further. He teaches that you must be grateful to the formless substance itself, not as a distant deity, but as a present intelligence that is actively working to bring your desires into manifestation. You are grateful to the creative power that is even now organizing circumstances, moving people, arranging events, doing 1,000 things invisibly to produce the visible result you have commanded. This gratitude establishes and maintains your personal relation with the formless. It says, I am not alone in this process. I am cooperating with infinite intelligence. I trust its methods. I appreciate its work. This appreciation keeps the channel open. It keeps you in the frequency of receptivity. Many people impress their desires upon the formless, and then through worry and doubt and impatience, cut off the very channel through which the result must come. Gratitude prevents this. When you are grateful, you are patient because you trust. When you trust, you allow the creative process to unfold without interference from your anxiety. Consider the practical discipline this requires. Wattles calls it habitual gratitude, not occasional thankfulness when things go well, but a constant underlying tone of appreciation that colors every moment of your day. This means you must train yourself to find something to be grateful for in every situation. Your alarm wakes you earlier than you wanted. Be grateful you can wake up, that you have responsibilities worth waking for, that you have another day to impress your will upon the formless. Traffic delays you. Be grateful you have a vehicle, that you have somewhere to go, that you have time to practice mental visualization while you wait. Someone treats you rudely. Be grateful for the opportunity to practice maintaining your frequency despite external disturbance. Grateful that their behavior reveals what you will not become. This constant finding of reasons for gratitude rewires your consciousness until gratitude becomes your default state, your baseline frequency. And when gratitude is your baseline, every thought you think is automatically charged with the power that penetrates. This habitual gratitude creates what could be called cumulative resonance. Each moment of genuine appreciation adds voltage to your consciousness. Day after day of sustained gratitude builds up such a charge that your mental broadcasts become irresistibly powerful. You are not trying to penetrate the formless. You are already in such perfect alignment that penetration is automatic. Your thoughts do not have to struggle to make an impression. They sink into the substance effortlessly, like a hot knife through butter. This is the state of consciousness that Wattles himself achieved and operated from, a state of such constant gratitude that his every thought manifested with astonishing speed and precision. He was not special. He was simply operating on the correct frequency consistently. And he is teaching you to do the same. Establish gratitude as your permanent frequency, your unshakable foundation, and watch how quickly and powerfully your thoughts begin to shape reality. The warning, though, is equally important. Gratitude must be continuous or it loses its power. You cannot be grateful in the morning and complaining by afternoon. You cannot appreciate your blessings on Sunday and focus on problems on Monday. Inconsistency in frequency creates weak, wavering transmissions that do not penetrate. Wattles is blunt about this. 1 hour of complaining can undo the creative momentum of weeks of grateful visualization. Why? Because when you complain, you are not just neutral. You are actively broadcasting on the frequency of lack, which is oppositional to the frequency of the formless. You are creating interference. You are saying to the universe, never mind what I commanded. I don't really believe it's coming. I am focused on what is wrong. And the formless, being perfectly responsive to your dominant frequency, must honor this command as well. It must slow or stop the manifestation process because you have changed the signal. This is why Wattles demands vigilance. You must guard your frequency as carefully as you guard your most precious possession, because your frequency is your most precious possession. It is the difference between commanding reality and being commanded by it, between penetrating the formless and bouncing off its surface, between being a creator and remaining a creature. The penetrating frequency that Wattles teaches requires more than just feeling grateful in isolated moments. It requires establishing what he calls continuous contact with the formless substance through unbroken gratitude. Imagine a radio station that broadcasts intermittently, on for an hour, off for 3 hours, back on for 30 minutes, off again. No one could rely on that station. The signal would be worthless because continuity is essential for effective transmission. Your consciousness works the same way. Every time you break the frequency of gratitude, you sever the connection with the formless. The creative power that was flowing toward the manifestation of your desires stops flowing. The impression you were making on the substance begins to fade, and you must start over, rebuilding the momentum, re-establishing the contact. This is why so many people feel like they are constantly starting over in their manifestation practice, why they experience brief periods of hope and progress, followed by disappointment and stagnation. They are not maintaining continuous contact. They are flickering on and off, and the formless cannot complete the manifestation process during these disconnected intervals. Wattles makes it clear, you cannot afford to take days off from gratitude. You cannot indulge in complaint on Monday just because you were grateful on Sunday. This is not about perfectionism or rigid self-control. This is about understanding how the creative mechanism actually functions. The formless substance is not like a genie that grants wishes and then disappears. It is an ongoing relationship, a continuous flow of creative power from the infinite to the individual. When you maintain gratitude continuously, you keep the channel open continuously, and the creative power flows without interruption. The substance is always working on your behalf, organizing circumstances, coordinating events, bringing your desires into form. But the moment you shift into complaint, into doubt, into focus on problems, you close the channel. The work stops. Not because the substance has abandoned you, but because you have broken the frequency that allows it to work through you. Think of it this way. The formless substance is like an electrical current that is always flowing, always available, infinitely powerful. Gratitude is like a copper wire, an excellent conductor that allows the current to flow through you and into your life with minimal resistance. Complaint is like a rubber insulator. It blocks the flow entirely. You would not expect electricity to flow through rubber, yet people constantly wonder why their desires are not manifesting while they spend their days complaining about their circumstances. The power is there. The substance is willing, but you have insulated yourself through your frequency. Continuous gratitude means choosing to be a conductor every hour of every day, ensuring that the creative current flows without interruption from the universal to the individual, from the formless to the formed, from possibility to actuality. This continuous contact requires a level of mental discipline that most people have never attempted. It means catching yourself the instant you begin to complain and immediately shifting back to gratitude. It means reframing every situation, no matter how challenging, in terms of what you can appreciate about it or learn from it or use for your growth. It means that when something goes wrong, and things will go wrong because you live in a physical world with time delays and other people with their own wills, you do not allow yourself the luxury of extended complaint or self-pity. You acknowledge the situation, you learn what needs to be learned, and you return immediately to gratitude and faith. This is not about denying reality. This is about choosing which aspect of reality you will amplify with your attention. Every situation has multiple aspects. Continuous gratitude means you choose to focus on and appreciate the aspects that support your creative intention rather than the aspects that contradict it. Wattles understood something that modern psychology is only now beginning to confirm. Your habitual mental state becomes your identity, and your identity determines what you can manifest. If you are habitually grateful, you identify as someone who is blessed, who is connected to infinite supply, who is favored by the creative power of the universe. From this identity, manifestation is natural and expected. But if you are habitually complaining, you identify as someone who is unlucky, who is struggling against a resistant universe, who is separate from the good you desire. From this identity, manifestation is difficult and rare. Your external results always mirror your internal identity. So continuous gratitude is not just about maintaining a good mood. It is about constructing and maintaining the identity of a creator who is in constant communion with creative power. Every moment you stay in gratitude, you reinforce this identity. Every moment you slip into complaint, you undermine it. The masters of manifestation, those rare individuals who seem to create whatever they desire with ease and speed, are without exception people who have established habitual gratitude. They have made it their default frequency. This does not mean they are naive or ignorant of problems. It means they have trained themselves to process problems quickly and return to the frequency that creates solutions. They do not dwell in complaint because they know dwelling in complaint is dwelling in the frequency of lack, and lack attracts more lack. They maintain continuous contact with the formless through continuous gratitude, and this contact becomes so stable, so reliable, that their creative power seems almost supernatural to observers. But it is not supernatural. It is simply natural law operating consistently because the frequency is maintained consistently. This is the discipline Wattles is teaching you. Make gratitude your baseline. Not happiness. Happiness depends on circumstances. Not excitement. Excitement comes and goes. Gratitude. Deep, steady, unshakable appreciation for the fact that you exist, that you are conscious, that you have access to the formless substance, that you are a creator with the power to impress your will upon the fabric of reality itself. This gratitude does not fluctuate with circumstances because it is not based on circumstances. It is based on the unchanging truth that you are in personal relation with infinite creative power, and nothing that happens in the temporary physical world can change this truth. When you root your gratitude this deeply, it becomes unshakable. And when your gratitude is unshakable, your contact with the formless is continuous. And when your contact is continuous, your creative power becomes so reliable that you stop hoping and start knowing. You stop trying and start commanding. You become, in Wattles' perfect phrase, one who knows and acts upon what they know. And the universe has no choice but to respond to your knowing with corresponding manifestation. There is a principle in physics that explains why lasers can cut through steel while ordinary lamps cannot, even though both devices use light. A lamp emits light in all directions, with photons traveling in random patterns at varying wavelengths, out of phase with each other. The energy is dispersed. A laser, on the other hand, emits light in which all the photons are moving in the same direction, at the same wavelength, perfectly in phase with each other. This is called coherence. The total energy output of a lamp might actually be greater than that of a laser. But because the lamp's energy is scattered and the laser's energy is coherent, the laser can concentrate enough power in a single point to cut through matter while the lamp merely illuminates. Wallace Wattles teaches that the same principle applies to thought. You can have tremendous mental energy, strong desires, intense emotions, vivid imagination. But if that energy is incoherent, if your thoughts about what you want are mixed with thoughts about what you fear, if your mental images of success are contaminated by images of failure, then all your mental power is dispersed. It illuminates your consciousness, but penetrates nothing. The penetrating frequency requires absolute coherence of purpose. This means that every element of your consciousness must be aligned in the same direction, resonating at the same frequency, broadcasting the same message. You cannot want money while fearing poverty. You cannot visualize health while talking about sickness. You cannot affirm abundance while complaining about lack. These mixed signals create what Wattles identifies as the primary reason most people fail in manifestation. They generate noise instead of signal. Their consciousness is a confused tangle of contradictory intentions, opposing desires, and incompatible beliefs. The formless substance receives this noise and cannot respond with clear manifestation because there is no clear instruction. It is like trying to build a house when the blueprint keeps changing. Today a mansion, tomorrow a cottage, next week a warehouse. The builder has energy and materials and willingness, but coherent creation is impossible without coherent instruction. Consider how most people actually think about what they want. They visualize their desire for a few minutes during morning practice, then spend hours during the day thinking about why it probably will not work, how difficult it will be to achieve, what obstacles stand in the way, how they have failed before, how the economy is bad, how they are too old or too young or lack the right connections. Every one of these contrary thoughts is a command to the formless substance to not manifest the desire. The substance is neutral. It responds to whatever you impress upon it most consistently. If you impress images of success for 5 minutes and images of failure for 55 minutes, which do you think will manifest? The math is simple, but the implications are profound. To penetrate the formless, your purpose must be coherent. You must think about what you want more than you think about what you do not want. You must visualize success more than you imagine failure. You must affirm abundance more than you acknowledge lack. This coherence begins with clarity of desire. You must know exactly what you want, not in vague terms, but in specific detail. The more precise your desire, the more coherent your mental broadcasts can become. Vague desires produce scattered thoughts. Specific desires focus thought into a beam. Once you know exactly what you want, every thought about that subject must support its manifestation. This is not about denying reality or pretending problems do not exist. This is about choosing which reality you will feed with your attention. Problems exist, yes. Obstacles are real, yes. But they are not as real as the formless substance's power to overcome them. When you maintain coherent focus on your desire, when you refuse to contaminate your mental image of success with worries about failure, you are not being naive, you are being scientific. You are applying the law of coherence. All thought energy moving in the same direction must accumulate into a force powerful enough to penetrate any resistance. Wattles points to another dimension of coherence that people often miss: emotional coherence. You can visualize clearly, but if your emotions are incoherent with your visualization, you cancel out your own power. If you visualize wealth while feeling unworthy of wealth, the formless receives mixed instructions. If you imagine perfect health while feeling guilty about past lifestyle choices, you undermine your own command. Emotional coherence means that your feelings must align with your thoughts. You must feel wealthy while thinking wealth. You must feel healthy while imagining health. You must feel worthy while claiming worthiness. This alignment of thought and feeling creates maximum coherence, and maximum coherence creates maximum penetration. The formless cannot resist a consciousness in which imagination, thought, emotion, belief, and will are all vibrating together in perfect harmony, all broadcasting the same message with no internal contradiction. How do you achieve this level of coherence when your mind has been trained by years, perhaps decades, of incoherent thinking? Wattles provides the method: relentless mental discipline combined with the penetrating frequency. Every time you notice an incoherent thought, every time you catch yourself wanting one thing while thinking about its opposite, you stop immediately, refuse that thought, and replace it with a coherent one. You want wealth? Then you refuse every thought of poverty. You want health? Then you refuse every thought of sickness. This is not suppression, this is selection. You are choosing which thoughts you will energize with your attention and which thoughts you will allow to die from neglect. Over time, through countless small corrections, your consciousness begins to naturally maintain coherence. The incoherent thoughts arise less frequently because you have stopped feeding them. The coherent thoughts grow stronger because you have been consistently reinforcing them. Gratitude accelerates this process of achieving coherence because gratitude naturally focuses your mind on what is present rather than what is absent, on what works rather than what fails, on the evidence of the formless substance's responsiveness rather than on its apparent delays. When you are grateful, your thoughts spontaneously organize themselves into coherent patterns because gratitude itself is a coherent frequency. It does not waver, it does not contradict itself, it does not mix with doubt. This is why Wattles links gratitude so closely with penetrating power. Gratitude is not just a way to feel good, it is a technology for creating mental coherence. The more habitually grateful you become, the more naturally coherent your thoughts become. And the more coherent your thoughts become, the more powerfully they penetrate the formless substance and command it into manifesting the forms you desire. The metaphor of the laser is perfect because it reveals the secret. You do not need more mental energy. Most people have plenty of desire, plenty of imagination, plenty of emotion. What they lack is coherence. They are lamps when they need to be lasers. Wattles is teaching you to organize all your mental and emotional energy into a single, focused, unwavering beam of intention. When you do this, when you achieve true coherence of purpose, with every thought supporting your desire, every emotion aligned with your visualization, every belief confirming your worthiness, every word spoken in faith, you discover that thought is not a weak force. Thought is the most powerful force in the universe when it is coherent. Incoherent thought accomplishes nothing. Coherent thought cuts through the formless substance like a laser through steel, carving out the exact shape of your intention and commanding matter to fill that shape. This is the singularity of purpose, all your power focused on one point, moving in one direction, resonating at one frequency, transmitting one message that the formless substance cannot misunderstand and must not resist. The achievement of coherence in thought and emotion naturally leads to what Wattles calls the unified command, the state of consciousness in which your entire being, body and mind and soul, speaks with one voice to the formless substance. This is the pinnacle of manifestation science because it represents the complete integration of all levels of your existence into a single focused act of creation. Most people are internally divided. Their conscious mind wants one thing, while their subconscious whispers doubts. Their intellect affirms abundance while their emotions cling to scarcity. Their words declare faith while their actions reveal fear. This internal division is fatal to penetration. The formless substance does not respond to your words or even to your conscious thoughts. It responds to your total vibrational output, and if that output is a mixture of contradictory frequencies, the result is either weak manifestation or no manifestation at all. The unified command requires that you bring all aspects of yourself into agreement before you issue an intention to the formless. Your mind must be clear about what you want. Your emotions must be aligned with having it. Your words must declare it as certain. Your actions must demonstrate your faith in its coming. When all these levels operate in perfect agreement, when there is no internal voice saying, "But what if it does not work?" while you visualize success, then you create what could be called a spike in voltage. The power of your command increases exponentially because it is not being diluted by internal resistance. It is like the difference between pushing on a car with 10 people, all pushing in different directions, versus 10 people all pushing in the same direction. The total effort might be the same, but the result is vastly different. When you achieve unified command, all your internal people, conscious mind, subconscious mind, emotions, will, imagination, belief, are pushing in exactly the same direction, and the formless substance must move. This unity is what Wattles means when he says you must command with the full weight of your being. Half-hearted desires do not penetrate. Divided intentions do not manifest. Only when you gather all your power, all your attention, all your faith into a single moment of command does the breakthrough occur. Think about the phrase, "I am wealth." When spoken with unified command, it is not a hopeful affirmation or a positive suggestion to your subconscious. It is a declaration of metaphysical reality issued with such total conviction, such complete alignment of all your internal faculties, that the formless substance receives it as an absolute command that must be executed. But when the same phrase is spoken while part of you doubts, while your emotions contradict your words, while your actions show you do not really believe it, the phrase becomes empty noise. The substance ignores it because it is not backed by unified power. How do you know when you have achieved unified command? Wattles provides the test. When you can state your desire with no emotional reaction, no anxiety, no desperate need, just calm certainty. When you can say, I am wealthy, or I am healthy, or I am successful with the same matter-of-fact tone you would use to say, I am breathing, you have achieved unity. The desperate edge in your voice reveals internal division. Part of you believes, part of you doubts. The anxious striving in your actions reveals internal conflict. Part of you has faith, part of you fears. But when you reach the state where your desire is simply a known fact, where you can contemplate your goal with grateful certainty and zero anxiety about whether it will manifest, you have unified your being. And from this state of unity, your commands to the formless carry irresistible power. The path to unified command is through the two practices Wattles emphasizes throughout his work: continuous gratitude and absolute faith. Gratitude unifies you by dissolving the contradictions in your emotional body. When you are deeply grateful for what you are commanding before it appears, your emotions come into alignment with your intention. You cannot be simultaneously grateful for wealth and fearful of poverty. The frequencies are incompatible. Sustained gratitude slowly but surely eliminates the emotional static that creates internal division. Faith unifies you by dissolving the contradictions in your mental body. When you understand the law, when you know that the formless must respond to correct impressions, when you operate from knowing rather than hoping, your mind ceases its anxious questioning and settles into certainty. You cannot be simultaneously faithful and doubtful. The states are mutually exclusive. Sustained faith, born of understanding, eliminates the mental noise that weakens your commands. Together, gratitude and faith create the foundation for unified command. Your emotions are grateful, your mind is certain, and from this foundation, you speak your intention not as a wish or a request but as a decree. I am wealth. No part of you whispers, but no hidden doubt undermines the statement. No suppressed fear contradicts the declaration. You are unified, and this unification creates the spike in voltage that breaks the barrier between the invisible and the visible. The formless substance must respond because you are not asking it to respond. You are commanding it with the full authority of a consciousness that has achieved internal coherence and speaks with one voice. This is the ultimate secret of penetration, not greater force externally applied, but total unity internally achieved. When you become one within yourself, you become one with the formless, and the creative power flows through you without resistance, manifesting your commands with speed and precision that seems miraculous to those who do not understand the law. The universe is waiting, not waiting passively like an audience anticipating a performance, but waiting actively like a sculptor with hammer and chisel raised, poised to strike the moment you give the word. The formless substance that fills all space, that penetrates all matter, that underlies all form, is not neutral about your desires. It is not indifferent. It wants to create through you. It wants to take shape according to your vision. But it cannot move until you command it to move, because that is the law Wattles discovered. The formless responds to focused thought expressed through personal relation and charged with the penetrating frequency of gratitude and faith. For years, perhaps your entire life, you have been suggesting to the universe what you might like, what you hope for, what you wish would happen. And the universe has responded appropriately to suggestions. Sometimes yes, mostly no, always unpredictable. But you are done with suggestions. You are ready now to issue commands. A command is different from a suggestion in every quality except the words themselves. The words, I am wealthy, can be spoken as a timid suggestion, a hopeful proposition that maybe, if circumstances align, if luck favors you, if the universe feels generous, you might become wealthy. Or those same words can be spoken as an absolute command, a declaration that impresses itself upon the formless substance with such clarity, such conviction, such unified power that wealth must manifest because you have operated according to law, and law is not optional. The difference is not volume. You do not shout commands to the universe. The difference is vibrational. A command vibrates with the frequency we have been exploring. The personal relation that establishes your right to command, the clarity that specifies exactly what you are commanding, the gratitude that aligns you with the creative flow, the faith that knows your command must be executed, the coherence that focuses all your power in one direction, and the unity that eliminates all internal contradiction. When you speak to the universe with this frequency, you are not speaking loud. You are speaking loud enough. Vibrational loudness is not about decibels, it is about penetration. A whisper with penetrating power reaches further than a shout without it. Wattles teaches that most people are shouting suggestions, desperate, anxious, straining to be heard, yet their signal never penetrates because it lacks the characteristics of true command. But a person who understands the science can issue a command in silence, in the privacy of their own mind, and that command will reach the formless substance, make a deep impression, and set in motion all the forces necessary to manifest the desired outcome in physical reality. This is the power you have been building through this entire teaching. The power to speak with vibrational loudness, to broadcast on the penetrating frequency, to make yourself heard not by the ears of people, but by the creative intelligence that forms people and circumstances and opportunities. The universe does not need you to be perfect. It does not require that you never doubt, never fear, never make mistakes. But it does require that in the moment of command, in that focused instant when you impress your desire upon the formless, you be unified, coherent, aligned. It requires that you speak from your center, from the place of knowing, from the consciousness of Creator in relation with creative power. This is what it means to speak loud enough vibrationally, to gather all your scattered energies, to align all your divided faculties, to focus all your power into a single point of intention, and from that point to issue your command with the certainty that it will be heard and must be obeyed. Not because the universe is your servant, but because you are operating according to the law that governs creation, and law does not play favorites or make exceptions. When you meet the conditions, you get the results. When you broadcast on the penetrating frequency, you penetrate. So the synthesis of everything we have explored comes to this. The universe is not waiting for you to deserve its gifts, not waiting for you to be worthy enough, not waiting for the right timing or the perfect circumstances. It is waiting for you to command clearly, to command coherently, to command with the full weight of your unified being, to command from the frequency of gratitude and faith, to command with the understanding that you are not separate from creative power, but an individualized expression of it. When you do this, when you finally speak to the formless substance as a creator speaks to creative medium, you discover what the masters have always known. The universe is infinitely responsive, instantly obedient, and absolutely reliable. It does not wait to see if you are serious. It responds immediately to your vibrational command, setting in motion forces visible and invisible, coordinating circumstances you cannot see, working through channels you do not know exist, to manifest in your physical experience the exact equivalent of what you have commanded in consciousness. Wallace Wattles was not a philosopher speculating about consciousness. He was a scientist, documenting the laws he had discovered and successfully applied. Every principle he teaches in The Science of Being Well and his other writings comes from direct experience, from testing and proving in his own life that thought is the creative power of the universe, and that any person who understands how to direct that power correctly can create whatever they desire. What Wattles discovered and codified is the bridge between the mysticism of ancient wisdom and the practicality of modern application. The mystics said all is mind, but did not explain how to use mind to create specific results. The materialists said only matter is real, but could not explain consciousness or the proven effectiveness of mental methods. Wattles synthesized both. Mind is primary and creates matter, and here is the exact method by which it does so. Listen to his words, for they contain the complete formula. The man who can hold his thought upon the formless substance with faith and purpose can cause the creation of the thing he thinks about. Every word in this sentence is precise. The man, any person, including you, no special gifts required. Who can hold sustained focus, not fleeting wishes, his thought, clear imagery, specific intention, upon the formless substance, directed at the creative source, not at circumstances or people, with faith, absolute certainty based on understanding law, and purpose, coherent intention, unified will, can cause, not hope for, not ask for, but actively cause, make happen, command into existence. The creation, actual manifestation in physical reality, of the thing he thinks about, exact correspondence between mental image and physical form. This is the formula. This is the master key to Wattles' teaching. Every element must be present, and every element must be maintained for the law to operate fully. The power that Wattles accessed, the power he is teaching you to access, is not metaphorical. It is as real as electricity, as reliable as mathematics, as universal as gravity. When you apply the principles correctly, the results are not random or occasional or dependent on luck. The results are lawful, predictable, reproducible. This is what makes it science rather than superstition. Wattles was not lucky. He was not specially blessed by God. He was not born with unusual gifts. He simply discovered the principles that govern the relationship between thought and form, and he applied those principles with disciplined consistency until they produced the results he commanded. And then he wrote them down so that you could do the same. His generosity in sharing this knowledge is itself evidence of the abundance consciousness he achieved. He knew that teaching others would not diminish his own supply because he understood supply flows from the formless, which is infinite. What would change in your life if you took Wattles' promise seriously? If you stopped treating these principles as interesting philosophy and started applying them as exact science? If you established the personal relation, maintained continuous gratitude, developed absolute faith, achieved coherence of purpose, and issued your commands with unified power? Wattles answers, everything would change. Not gradually, not partially, but completely, and often rapidly. Because once you align with the creative law and maintain that alignment, the universe has no choice but to reorganize itself around your vision. Circumstances shift, opportunities appear, the right people show up at the right time, resources materialize, what seemed impossible becomes inevitable. This is not magic, this is law in operation. The formless substance must take the shape of the thoughts consistently impressed upon it by a consciousness operating on the penetrating frequency. The tragedy is that most people will read these words, feel momentarily inspired, perhaps even try the principles for a day or a week, and then return to their habitual frequency of complaint, doubt, and scattered purpose. They will continue to send weak signals to the universe and wonder why nothing changes. But you are not most people, or you would not have stayed with this teaching to this point. You have felt something shift inside you as you have absorbed these ideas. You have recognized truth. You have sensed the power waiting to be accessed. Now comes the only question that matters. Will you apply what you know? Will you commit to establishing the penetrating frequency as your permanent mode of consciousness? Will you discipline your thoughts, align your emotions, unify your being, and command the formless with the authority of one who knows? Wattles' teaching is ultimately an invitation to step into your true identity as a creator. Not a creator in training, not a creator when you become good enough, but a creator right now, fully equipped, fully empowered, fully authorized to impress your will upon the formless substance and watch it take form in your physical reality. This is not arrogance. This is accurate self-knowledge. You are not claiming to be God. You are recognizing that you are an individualized expression of God, carrying within your consciousness the same creative power that formed galaxies and orchestrates the dance of atoms. Wattles proved this truth by living it. He went from poverty to prosperity, from sickness to health, from confusion to clarity, not through luck or external help, but through the consistent application of the mental laws he discovered. And he left you the blueprint. The question is not whether the blueprint works. Wattles and countless others have proven it does. The question is whether you will use it. The time for preparation is over. The time for study is complete. You stand now at the threshold between knowledge and power, between understanding principles and applying them, between reading about the penetrating frequency and actually generating it in your consciousness. Everything you need has been given to you. The personal relation, you know how to establish it. The clarity of purpose, you know how to focus your intention. The penetrating frequency, you know it is the combination of deep gratitude and absolute faith. The coherence, you know how to align all your thoughts in one direction. The unified command, you know how to bring your entire being into agreement. The only thing missing is your decision to begin right now to clear the channel, boost the power, and make contact with the formless substance. Clear the channel. This means removing the interference that has been weakening your signal. Every complaint is static. Every doubt is noise. Every moment spent focused on problems rather than solutions is time spent broadcasting on the wrong frequency. Starting today, starting this moment, you commit to maintaining the penetrating frequency continuously. When you notice complaint arising, you stop it immediately and find something to be grateful for. When you notice doubt creeping in, you stop it immediately and return to the certainty that comes from understanding law. When you notice your purpose becoming scattered, you stop immediately and refocus on the one thing you are commanding the formless to create. This vigilance over your frequency is not optional if you want results. This is the price of admission to the creative power Wattles teaches, and it is a price you can afford because you pay it with attention, not with money or time or anything external. Boost the power. This means intensifying your gratitude and deepening your faith until they are not just ideas you think about, but forces you feel in your entire being. Gratitude so deep that it colors every moment, every perception, every response to circumstances. Faith so absolute that you can visualize your desire with zero anxiety about whether it will manifest because you know it must manifest. You boost the power through practice, through repetition, through daily immersion in the truth of your creative nature. Every morning you contemplate the formless substance and its responsiveness. Every day you visualize your desire with grateful certainty. Every evening you review the day and acknowledge every evidence of the substance's creative work on your behalf. This consistent practice compounds like interest in a bank account, and soon you will find that your natural state is the penetrating frequency. You will not have to try to maintain it. It will maintain itself because you have made it your identity. Make contact. This is the moment of command, the instant when you gather all your power and issue your intention to the formless. It is not loud. It is not desperate. It is quiet, certain, absolute. I am wealth. I am health. I am success. Whatever your desire, you state it in present tense as already yours. You infuse that statement with gratitude for its coming and faith in its manifestation, and you release it to the formless with total trust that the creative forces are now in motion. You do not wait to see if it works. You know it works because you understand the law. And then you go about your day maintaining the frequency, returning again and again to the consciousness of creator in contact with creative power. Until one day, sooner than you expect, you will see in your physical reality the exact form you commanded in consciousness. Write in the comments, I make contact. Let these words be more than a comment on a video. Let them be your declaration to the universe that you are done with weak signals, done with scattered purposes, done with hoping and wishing and waiting for circumstances to change. You are stepping now into your power as a creator. You are establishing personal relation with the formless substance. You are tuning your consciousness to the penetrating frequency. You are issuing your commands with unified force. You are making contact with the source of all creation, and you are commanding it to organize itself according to your vision. The universe is waiting for your signal. The formless is ready to respond. Make your command. Make it clear. Make it coherent. Make it powerful. Make it now. I make contact. Let the creation start.